Hey folks, and welcome to week number 12. So we've got two due dates this week, Friday, November 6th, and Monday, November 9th. So by Friday, I want you to look at feedback on your research answers, and ultimately you can also look then at feedback on your source evaluation worksheet. Okay. And feedback on your intro paragraph, review the citation basics. I want you to write the Essay 3 draft. Peer review for this will be next week. I kind of want this in by Friday just because I want you to have a little bit of time to focus on Essay 4, which we're also going to start this week. So if you need a little bit of extra time on the draft, not a big deal. I'm fine with you taking on till Saturday or something. What I don't want is for you to, try to rush the beginning to Essay 4 here, okay? So real quick, there's a quick video here on how to use Turnitin.com. That's a plagiarism checking software. That is there so that you can actually run your own paper and see what it shows. So this video will show you how that works, okay? Citation basics here, and then, of course, where you submit your rough draft. Now, I want to get in here and talk a little bit about the Essay 4 assignment. So we'll go ahead and do that. Essay 4 is our long research paper. What we're going to do is use the skills in assessing sources that we picked up in Essay 1 and 2, and then the research skills that we picked up in working on Essay 3 to put together a long research report. So ordinarily, I'd ask you to write your long essay on one of a couple specific topics, but part of English 102 is about information literacy, recognizing the information need, finding and analyzing answers, and presenting that information in a report. So part of this is identifying the information need. In other words, discovering a topic. So Essay 4 is a 7 to 10 page investigative as opposed to informative, okay? So if you're going to write a paper about the current situation with rescuing elephants in the world, that is very clearly an informative paper, okay? And there's nothing wrong with an informative paper, but what we want to focus on here is an investigative paper where we're trying to answer a question. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is fix a practical problem, okay? So in the proposal, I'd like you to propose a topic and a research question, your information need. Okay, so the topic here is going to be sort of what you're writing about, but then the research question here is the question you're trying to answer in your paper. Okay, it should be laid out in a one-page document. Argue why it's worthwhile to study. There's a template here. We'll go and take a look at that at the moment. If there are unresolved questions or problems that you discovered in an earlier research essay that you wrote this semester, feel free to use that as a jumping-off point. But when in doubt, I want you to think about a smaller, more focused question rather than a big, broad one, okay? The proposal should include topic and a practical problem, okay? So in Essay 3, I gave you a set research question and you had to find the research answer. In other words, was the news story accurate, or the meme, or whatever you were working with? Was it accurate? You found a research answer, bada bing, bada boom. That's a research question, a research answer. The full process, and there's a video on this week, begins with a practical problem, turns that into a research question, finds a research answer, and then ultimately ends up with a practical solution to this. Okay, I'm hoping that your proposal will include your topic, your practical problem, and your research question, the first two steps of this. I also want you to think about why it's worthy of study and how you can handle it in 7 to 10 pages, okay? So there's some basic information here as per usual, but don't consider topics that are merely informational. In other words, how can we stop obesity, or what's the best treatment for lupus? Those are questions to which we know the answer. And that would just be about sharing information that's already found. What we want to do instead is focus on very specific issues or problems that need to be addressed. So, for example, what technological innovation could do the most to decrease traffic fatalities? Okay, so that's Essay 4 in a nutshell. I want to come take a look at the samples because I think that will help. Usual, I have a template for your proposal and a sample here. Well, let's go take a look at that real quick. So you can see here, there's a practical problem laid out. Nearly 13% of Americans are on antidepressants, many of which have significant negative side effects. Okay, why does it matter? Well, according to the FDA, 80 million Americans were taking at least one psychiatric medication, and over 41 million Americans were prescribed an antidepressant. So we're kind of building the case for why this is an important topic, okay? The number of people it impacts, how severe those impacts are, those are the sorts of things we want to think about when it comes to why it matters. What's the research question? Is cannabis a viable alternative for individuals who have had adverse side effects to psychiatric medications? Now, a lot of times I get students that want to write a paper about why marijuana is just fine. Or why it's got medicinal benefits. And those tend to be informational papers where you're getting information that is already out there and known, and a lot of it's not been particularly well vetted, and you're not trying to answer a specific question here. One of the things I liked about this, and this is a former student's proposal, is that there's a very specific question here. Okay? So if you've had adverse effects to psychiatric medications, so the side effects are problematic, is cannabis, marijuana, a viable treatment alternative to those? Okay. So that's really sort of what we've got here is a practical problem and a really specific research question that is going to generate some very specific research questions, which will in turn result in us going to find some very specific studies that look at the side effects of cannabis, the side effects of antidepressant or other psychiatric medications. And then the parameters here, the student goes in and sort of explains the sort of context and background behind this that makes us think that this question is reasonable to ask. Okay, so that's what I'm really kind of going for. It can be any topic that you're interested in, but we need to think about what the practical problem is and how we can turn that practical problem into a research question. And that is covered in this research process video. I know you probably think, well, we've talked about research. I know how to do this. This isn't about finding sources. It's about thinking through a question. So please watch this video because it breaks those 4 parts from practical problem to practical solution down, okay? And so that's really what we've got going this week. Let me get back here real quick to week 12 so you guys can see this one more time. So hopefully this Friday we've got the details ironed out on Essay 3. Again, if you need till Friday, Saturday or Sunday, that's fine. What I don't want is for you to neglect Essay 4. If you get Essay 4 in over on Monday, I can Monday night, Tuesday morning get you guys feedback on Essay 4 proposal, and then we can start working, make sure that you're on the right track. Okay? As always, if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to let me know.